Okay, here we go. Welcome everybody to the big picture of Summa Social, of social media at large. Hosted by yours truly, Donna Newman of Summa Social, and I have one of my favorite guest speakers, Lon Safko, author of the Amazon bestseller, The Social Media Bible, joining me in studio today. One of my most fun activities on Summa Social is offering educational webinars to our clients, our Facebook fans, and today is no different. And if you want to tweet or post on Facebook about our webinar, you can use the hashtag that you'll see on our main page here, pound the big picture. And hopefully we'll have a bunch of really good insights that you'll want to share this webinar with your friends. Also, we'll be posting this webinar live tomorrow, and you'll all get a link in case you want to refer back to any ideas or you want to share it with your team. Now, here's what you're going to learn, or here's what I call your pre-flight launch strategies. First, you're going to learn the simple strategies that will launch any platform successfully, and Lon has a lot of great ideas for a multitude of platforms. But then, because so oftentimes small business owners have pitfalls that they get stuck in, we're going to talk about some specific pitfalls to avoid. And a hint here, it largely depends on who's your audience and what those social platforms that they're lingering on are. And then we're going to head over to some real examples to spark your engagement. Because I don't know about you, but I learn best when I see examples. Lon has packed this webinar so you can model the examples and make some of them your own. And then next, we're going to have plenty of time at the very end for questions and answers. So feel free to type your questions into the box as we go along, but we'll just save the answers from Lon for the very end. Plus, yes, you could win a very, very coveted copy of the Social Media Bible. And I know there's a very special spot in my office where mine sits. So be sure and stick around till the very end because that's when we're going to announce the winner. Early in my career, I was working in the marketing department for an internationally renowned heart surgeon, Dr. Dietrich. And just before we launched every big marketing project, he'd always caution us with these words. He would say, Donna, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. And here at Summa Social, that means that anytime you're entering into your social media platform, no matter what it is, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Second Life, etc., there's always 4 core objectives that will help you achieve your company's main goal on that platform. And at Summa, we refer to it as design, which is so your brand stands out. Invite your targeted audience, not just everybody, but your targeted audience that will convert and buy your business. Engage to stay top of mind with clients and targeted prospects. And then finally, it's convert, because that begins with building relationships that gain you customers, repeat customers, and even raving referrals. So in this webinar, we're going to give you enough strategy and support to get you started, even later today if you want. But we'll also show you how we can continue to support you beyond this webinar. And if you've ever been on one of our Summa Social webinars, you know that my #1 goal is always to give you immense value, whether or not you work with us at a higher level or even read Lon's book. So I promise you that in the next 60 minutes that you're going to learn new strategies and platforms that you can start experimenting with today and start seeing some results, because it's all about seeing results when it comes to social media. And that's right where my colleague Lon Safko comes in. Lon has definitely totally cracked the code on helping you see the big picture of social media for all of its disadvantages and specifically for all of its advantages. And I guarantee you it's definitely more than you ever thought it was, such as QR codes, Google Juice, and SEO. You've got virtual worlds and video marketing. You've got blogging and keywords. You've got link love. You've got platforms like the traditional Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and I know Lon's going to talk about one of his passionate platforms, Second Life, but there's so much more. So we want you to get off this webinar and think, there's a lot that I can do with social media, and rather than just tweeting or a Facebook post. And Lon is going to show you these possibilities. Then you'll get excited, you'll try some of these strategies, and ultimately, you're going to be a believer that yes, social media can really work for your business. And that's why I asked Lon Safko to show you the big picture and really go behind the scenes with strategies so that you can get results. And everything that Lon is going to be sharing with you today can be found in his book, which remember, we're giving away at the end of our time together. So Lon, take it away.
This is great, Donna. I'm really happy to be here. And the reason I'm happy to be here is I really love Summa Social. You guys have done a fabulous job with my Facebook page. And yeah, I'm kind of a little bit of an expert on it, but you took it so much further than I ever knew. So that's why I'm really happy to be working directly with you. The slide that you see in front of me is just some of the bullet points of from my bio. And the reason I want to put it up is to let you know, yeah, I'm a best-selling author. The Social Media Bible actually hit #1 on Amazon. It's in its 3rd edition, and it's printed in 4 languages. And I just released about a month ago my latest bestseller, the Fusion Marketing Bible, which so far has hit #3 on Amazon, and I'm really excited about that. Okay, so I'm an author, but you know what? More importantly, I'm a small business owner, just like you guys, and I've started 14 companies in my career. One of my companies actually is part of the Smithsonian Institution in Washington. I invented the first computer to save a human life. And that computer, along with 18 other inventions and 30,000 of my personal records, are part of the Smithsonian. So I know small business. I really do. And what got me involved in social media way back, it was about 2004, when I first heard about social media. I got excited about it because I recognized it as something that I called a disruptive technology. Every once in a while I'll see something and I'll say, OMG, this thing is going to change the way we live. And of course, nobody really got the whole point of what social media was. When I first started asking around what it was, all of the people that I talked to pretty much said, you know, social media, it's kind of like Web 2.0. We don't even know what that is. It has no substance. It's not going to stick around. But yeah, don't worry about it. But I kind of felt different. So because I always want to stay on the cutting edge of marketing and sales, particularly marketing, because I learned early on that even though I'm an inventor, if you know the old saying, if you build a better mousetrap, the world will beat a path to your door. Well, unless you know marketing and sales, if you build a better mousetrap, you just end up with more dead mice. So you got to learn marketing. And right now, the most important marketing, of course, is social marketing, which includes digital marketing as well as understanding how to integrate it with traditional marketing. Now, if you're having trouble understanding what social media is, don't feel bad. Believe it or not, people think that they know what it is, but they really can't define it. And the reason I say that is I'm shocked on how many people say, yeah, I totally understand social media because I got a Facebook page and I sent out a couple of tweets. Well, if that was the case, then the Social Media Bible wouldn't have turned out to be over 3 pounds and 800 pages. There's a lot to it, and we're going to show you. By the time we get to the end of this presentation, the one thing that you're going to walk away with is a much better understanding that, wow, social media, there's a ton of stuff in here I can do. And a lot of it's fun, and 100% of it is free. So the definition, the short definition of what social media is, and you're going to think of being a wise guy, not yet, is the short definition is it's technology, it's media that we use to be social. And I know that that sounds like a wise guy answer, but if you think about it for a second, it's media that we use to be social. It's Facebook, that's a media, and we use it to be social. It's Twitter, that's a media. But more specifically, when we use it as marketing. And let's face it, as marketers, every time we invent a new technology to communicate with other people, us as marketers figure out a way to turn it into a marketing tool. We did it with TV, we did it with radio, we did it with television, we did it with the internet, with e-commerce, and now social media is one of the biggest tools for marketers. So if you think about it, traditional marketing is one way push marketing messages. You push your message out, and you really don't listen to what the message coming back is. You can't hear the response in a radio ad, a television ad, or a print ad. But social media is a little bit different. It actually provides for two-way communications. Now, the reason that two-way communication is critical is because it allows you to communicate with your customers and your prospects. Communication leads to relationship. Relationship leads to trust, and trust sells. Now, I'm going to say that again. Trust sells. the more you can find where your customers are, such as using Summa Social for Facebook development, the more you can connect with your customers, the more you build a relationship, and then when it comes time for them to purchase your type of product or service, you have that relationship of trust, which is going to lead to sales. Now remember, none of us ever buy from a corporation. We buy from people. If you just bought a new car, let's say you bought a new Honda, you didn't buy the car from Honda. You bought it from Bob. And if you didn't trust him, if Bob came out in a plaid jacket, you would not have bought that car from him. So we remember, it's about building relationships which lead to trust. Trust leads to revenue. Now, the reason that we're all struggling with ROI, and I'm talking about individual one-person entrepreneurial companies all the way up to Fortune 500, is because you lack a strategy. Facebook and Summa Social is a magical combination, but you have to have a strategy. What are you going to do with that? Twitter is an excellent tool, but without a strategy, you're just typing text for no apparent reason. And to give you an example, some companies have literally millions of likes or fans on Facebook. And then when I ask them, when I'm working with them, I said, now, okay, great, you've got 29 million people. And that's a true number for a Fortune 500 company that I've worked with. You have 29 million people who liked you, fanned you on Facebook. How are you turning that into money? How are you converting that into revenue? And I get crickets because they don't have a strategy. So it's the same thing as if you said, okay, I'm going to do print ads, and I'm going to do a print ad every single day for 365 days. And if you have no strategy, you just spent a lot of money and made a lot of noise, but you didn't convert. So the reason the companies aren't successful is because they don't have a strong strategy. And everything that you see in social media, including Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, LinkedIn, those are tools, not strategies. Don't get confused. Donna, next slide. Now, if you're having some trouble kind of wrapping your brain around what social media actually is, this is a short list. And I'm not kidding you. This is a very, very short list of some of the more popular social media tools. I'm pausing for effect. Tools that are out there. Okay, don't go too fast. And if you're having trouble, it's because there's all this stuff, all this noise. And unfortunately, you're stuck as a business owner, as a marketer, stuck doing all of the traditional marketing that we're accustomed to, all of the digital marketing. Now remember, digital marketing is internet-based, but it doesn't provide for two-way communication. Digital marketing and things like SEO, SEM, search engine optimization, search engine marketing. Digital marketing can be e-commerce. It could be RSS. Things that are necessary but don't necessarily provide two-way communication. Then, of course, social media is the two-way communication technology. Well, I'm going to simplify it. You don't necessarily need to do all of this. You need to do what you see in front of you right now, which is something that I call the trinity of social media: blogging, microblogging, and social networks. Blogging, I'm going to go into more detail on each of these three. Blogging basically sets you up as a perceived industry leader. It gives you Google juice and link love, and there are incredible SEO implications to blogging, benefits of blogging for your website. I'll talk about that. And microblogging, for all intent and purposes, is Twitter, but there's other things. If you want to do a Twitter-like thing and you have a company with a couple of dozen employees or even larger, and you want to implement something like Twitter on an enterprise basis, you can do that. It's called Yammer. So I don't want to just call microblogging Twitter, because there are other alternatives for specific applications. And then, of course, social networks. Everything from Facebook to MySpace to Orkut. And even to some extent, you can consider social networks being things like Flickr, Pinterest, and even YouTube. Next slide, Donna. All right. Let's talk about Twitter. Everybody knows about Twitter, but do you know why you're doing Twitter? I mean, there's a reason that you do it, and there's a way that you can benefit, and there's a strategy behind it. Well, let me just kind of explain it. If you understand this already, just take a sip of your coffee and chill out. If you don't, you might pick something up. Here it comes. There's basically, it's text messaging, but instead of sending or receiving a text message from and to one person, you can do it to groups. That's it. It's SMS text messaging to groups. That's the technology. But here's the beauty part. Let's take a look at who you're going to follow. Why do you follow somebody? You're going to follow Summa Social. The why? Because they're always coming up with webinars. They're coming up with new ideas on how to promote you on Facebook. They are the leaders in Facebook technology. So when Donna sends out a tweet, you want to read that tweet. You want to be there to get that so that you can comprehend it and put it into practice in your business and benefit from it. Let's take another one, political. I guarantee, especially right now, there are things that are going on Capitol Hill, especially after this election here in a couple of weeks, that is going to affect your business. Now, do you want to wait for it to show up maybe in the newspaper if you still get one? I just found out today that Business Week actually is publishing their last publication in December after 81 years. Do you want to hope that maybe CNN picks it up if it's not too far to the right? Or maybe Fox might talk about it, of course, if it's not too far to the left. I mean, everything is being filtered. Or do you want to connect directly with the politicians, the lawmakers, the influencers, the mavens that are actually creating this legislation, creating this change in our culture, and find out instantly? What that means is if you're following a particular bill or something that might, let's say, happen with Obamacare, that maybe that'll affect you, would you like to know the next day, or do you want to know the moment the gavel hits the bench on Capitol Hill? So there's a great group of people to follow so that you will always be aware of what's going to affect your business, and you can find out instantly. There's other places that you want to follow. If you have a supplier, wouldn't you like to know that they're going to blow out an inventory of stuff that you sell, that you use, you might build into your product, and they're going to blow it out at 50% off until the inventory is gone? Now, do you want to find out in 3 days after it's gone, or do you want to find out within 6 seconds? So you're going to follow people that can give you information that you can use on a very timely basis. Now, here's another beautiful thing about Twitter. Mark Twain, everybody's familiar with Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens, the American humorist and author. About 100 years ago, he said, I love this, it's almost as if he knew Twitter. It says, I apologize for the length of my correspondence. Given more time, it would have been shorter. Do you get that? I love that saying. It's all about Twitter. Given more time, it would have been shorter. You know what that means? It means that if he had had more time, he'd gotten to the point faster. It would have been more succinct. I said, you ever get those emails that just ramble on and you lose interest like in the middle of the page and hit delete? Or how about those voice messages, answering machine messages, where they tell you what they're going to tell you, then they tell you, and then they tell you what they told you. They run out of message time and they call you back and tell you again. I mean, oh my gosh, is that the worst? Well, the thing about Twitter specifically is if I can give you things that you can use for your business, valuable insights, which I do, by the way, social media pointers, and if you can read those because they're limited to 140 characters, I can comprehend and utilize your tips in 5 seconds. Think about that. In 5 seconds. If you send out a newsletter, it doesn't cost your clients anything. You send it out for free. But they still have to spend something. And they have to spend time. And right now, especially if you're a small business owner, you don't have time to spend. There is no extra time. Money and time are the two tightest commodities that we have. But if you can give me something that I can apply to my business and benefit from it, and I only have to spend 5 seconds, I love you. You win. I'm going to read every one of your tweets. Now, if you're sending me tweets about playing with your kitty on your bed, or you decided to have bacon with your eggs, or your airplane is 10 minutes late, there's a button. It's called unfollow. And I'm going to hit that really fast because I don't care about what's going on in your life. I want you to give me things that I can use in my business. So people are going to follow you because you respect that. Now, as an example, I send out tweets at 10, noon, and 2, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. So that means if you're following me, I'm going to give you bullet points, 140 characters, 5 seconds is all it's going to take, and it's going to be something that you can use to benefit your marketing and benefit your business. So you're going to read them. You're going to follow me. You're going to retweet them. Now, here's the cool thing. What other marketing, now here's a question, and I want to see by show of hands, what other marketing can you do where you can get your brand in front of your potential customers 3 times a day, 5 days a week, every single week, week after week, absolutely free. I can't think of anything else. That's the power of Twitter. You want to follow people that are going to give you good tips. People are going to follow you because you're giving them good tips. Does that make sense? Okay, let's take a look at the next slide.
The XP Realty, this is Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Yes.
Okay, social networks. Of course, Facebook is the #1 social network. Everybody's on it. Everybody's heard of it. On September 14th of this year, it actually exceeded 1 billion active members, which is totally insane. 1 billion active members. And Summa, we got to mute somebody here. And Summa Social is awesome at really developing Facebook as a business tool. No question about it. And you need to be on Facebook. You need to take Facebook serious as a marketing tool. I mean, I know you've heard the statistics before that if Facebook were a country, it would be the 3rd largest country on the earth. I mean, that's amazing. Now, in marketing, we call any place that like-minded people gather a watering hole. That means a watering hole can be a trade journal. It could be a trade show. It could be something like this webinar. Like-minded people, people that have something in common, a common interest. Well, Facebook is a common interest to over 1 billion people worldwide. So why don't you have your, if I said that I had a publication, I had a newsletter that had 1 billion people had access to, and I'm willing to give you a full-page ad for free, how fast can you write me a check? I'm not asking for a check. I'm asking you to contact Summa Social and really take Facebook serious because you have access to 1 million people. And the reason that it works is because we all know that we use Facebook to look up people that we went to school with. Probably the most common use of Facebook is for all of us people to go back and check the girl that we went out with high school and see how fat she got, or to check out the guy that we went out in high school and find out that he's out on parole again. Yeah, we've all done it. You've done it. I know you have. I can tell by your smiles. This technology allows me to see you through my cam, but you can't see me. So, you know, and that's great, exchanging pictures of the grandkids and chocolate chip cookies. But sooner or later, because our business life is so important to us, we're going to type in keywords, key questions, keywords that are going to give us other people that are doing things similar to what we're doing. And that's where you're going to get those people. If they're looking for a product or service and they find you on Facebook, you already have something in common that the competition does not have in common with that potential client. So take Facebook serious. Now, other social networks, Orkut, Academy, Plaxo, are you on those? If you're not, why not? And MySpace, everybody says, oh, MySpace is dead. Yeah, you know what? If I had 200 million people every month coming to my website, I would call my website anything but dead. If you have access to 200 million people, why don't you have a profile on there? I'm not saying get out there every day and add to it and update it and yak on it, but I am saying you need to at least participate, be in the game, get access to a watering hole that has 200 million people. And that holds true for all of them. If someone sends you an invitation to join them on Academy, why not? Or Plaxo, why not? Orkut, why not? It doesn't cost anything, and you get access to all of these different people. LinkedIn. If you took away every social network on earth, Facebook and LinkedIn are the two probably most important. I love LinkedIn. They have 175 million active members. They're all professionals. It's a very well respected, very well policed, maintained online database of contacts. It's absolutely amazing, and I use it all of the time. Let me give you an example. Not too long ago, I signed contracts with PBS Television to do the world's first special on social media for PBS, and I was really excited, and then I realized that I had to raise $150,000 to do this, and I knew that if I was going to raise a sponsorship of $150,000, that I was talking about a Fortune 500 company, and I would have to get to executive vice presidents or above. So I identified about 30 companies that had something in common with social media. Companies like Verizon, for example, they have a strong vested interest in social media because of the data transfer. Other companies like Google and Yahoo, and I had some contacts there. But you know what I really wanted to go after is someone outside of the technology field that could appreciate it. So I wanted companies like Ford. I knew Ford was doing a phenomenal job of utilizing social media. So I simply went into LinkedIn, I typed in Ford Motor Company, and I found Scott Monty. Scott Monty is Executive Vice President of Social Media Marketing for Ford. And some people say that he single-handedly made the Ford Focus the best-selling car in America because of his understanding of social media. Now, I didn't know Scott at all. I'd never had met him. I had heard about him before, but I had no relationship. And I knew that if I tried to call him, I would get to the switchboard. Maybe with a little luck, I could get to his secretary, but I would never connect with him. They have so many gatekeepers that there's no way. You know that. So what happened was I just typed in his name, I hit the connection button, and I found out that there was a woman here in Phoenix. I live in Phoenix, and she actually had done my public relations for a company that I owned back in the 90s. So we've been friends since about 1995. I mean, think about that. That's 15 years, almost 20 years we've been friends. So we have a trusted connection. It turns out that her and Scott Monty are really good friends. So I sent an email out to Francine. I said, would you introduce me to Scott Monty? I want to talk to him and Ford Motor Company about a $150,000 sponsorship. She goes, yeah, no problem. Within 15 minutes, I got an email back from Scott Monty, the Executive Vice President of Ford Motor Company, saying, hey, let's get on the phone. And within a couple of minutes, he was on the phone, as well as Team Detroit, who's the marketing company for Ford. Now, think about it. What other tool can you use? It's absolutely free that can get you access to those kinds of people that the very moment you connect, you're connected with a trusted relationship. And by the way, within the next couple of weeks, of those 30 companies that I identified, I actually got to and spoke with the executive vice presidents, Fortune 500 companies, 23 out of the 30 companies. And I used LinkedIn to do it. That's a very powerful tool. Think of how powerful that would be for you if you were trying to make a large sale to a company and being able to connect at the executive vice president level or even higher in a trusted capacity. Next, Donna. And then there's Summa Social. And I'm not kidding. I put that in there on purpose because I've been working with Summa Social for a couple of months now, and honestly, I cannot believe how wonderful the graphics, the effectiveness, the campaigns, the giveaways. Okay, wow. Yeah, no kidding. Okay, Second Life. How many people, by a show of hands, and again, I have the technology to see you, so raise your hand if you are on the grid. Are you in Second Life? I don't see a single hand. Honest, I don't see not even one hand. Oh, how come? How come you're not on Second Life? There's 16.5 million people. Actually, if you look at the number, 16.75 million people. Second Life is a virtual world. It's the largest of about 5, 6, 7 different virtual worlds out there. As you can tell by these little cartoons in front of you, it looks like a game, but it's far from being a game. Yes, you do have little cartoon critters that you navigate around with your keyboard, which is a heck of a lot of fun, but you do not get extra points for blowing the brains out of one of the other cartoon characters or the avatars. That is gaming, and we're going to talk about that in a second. That's online gaming. No, when you meet another cartoon character, if you meet another avatar, that's a real live person. It's not computer generated. And this world is actually built and created by people who own property and do business and hang out in Second Life. Now, if you think this is a joke or a game, 253 of the Fortune 500 companies actually have a presence in this virtual world. So if you want to order a Domino's pizza, you can go into Second Life, walk into a virtual Domino's pizza, and a real one gets delivered to your door in 30 minutes. If you walk into the Dell Pavilion, you have your little cartoon character walk into Dell, and a cartoon character, an avatar, will meet and greet you and discuss your laptop needs, and within 24 hours, Federal Express will drop your new laptop off at your door. It's that serious. Now, that building that you see behind me where I'm floating, and you get to fly in here, which is totally cool, That's my office and my store. In the ground floor, the first floor, I actually have 2 stores where I sell educational products, CDs, DVDs, books about this kind of information. You can actually buy products in there. And then I have another company that I own that does 3-dimensional internet advertising where you can download free products and also buy other products. Now, upstairs, I have a conference room. Hey, go on in there, use my conference room anytime you want. There's no locks on any of the doors. It's wide open. I have an office upstairs with a big screen TV. You can watch some movies, or if you just want to hang out by the beach, listen to the waves and the seagulls crash. It's wonderful. Change the music if you want. Right now it's set for smooth jazz. But what I use it for is, I'll give you an example. A couple of weeks ago, it was a Thursday night. I had gone into Second Life just to look around and make sure nobody had left any trash around. And yes, believe it or not, people will and can leave trash laying around. And there was a bunch of people standing around that big screen TV that you see behind the palm trees on the left rear of that picture. And I was like, OMG, what are all these people, these avatars doing hanging around? So I walked over to one of them and I said, what are you guys up to? And she saw my name over my avatar because it floats over your avatar. And she says, oh my gosh, it's Lon Safko. It's the author of the book. I was like, okay. Well, it turned out that she was a doctoral professor at the University of Portland, and she was teaching a class. Instead of using Blackboard like most professors use, she was actually teaching a class on advanced social media using my property in Second Life. And she goes, I hope you don't mind. I said, no, that's totally cool. So I said, matter of fact, let me just boot up that big screen TV in the back and I'll do the presentation for you. So I did a live presentation for her class. There were people from all over the United States, and I taught it the college class, and now I use it regularly for teaching college classes. And I do interviews in here, and I have Fortune 500 clients meet me in here. So it's really a very useful tool. So I want you to get out of the rut of just thinking about the basic tools. There's a lot of other stuff that you can do with social media, and Second Life is, to me, is about one of the most fun, and it's absolutely free. Everything that I talk about is completely free. Now, if you notice that picture in the upper left-hand corner, I had used LinkedIn to actually connect with the CEO of Linden Labs. That's the company that invented Second Life, because in chapter 15 I talk about this in the book, and I couldn't get to him for 3 months using telephone, email. I went through their stock department, nothing. Finally, I connected with him on LinkedIn because I knew a friend who knew somebody who knew him, and he agreed to do an interview. So we interviewed in Second Life, and it went on for an entire hour. And in the audience, coincidentally, was CNN News, and they said that was the first an executive interview ever to take place in a virtual world. So the video is actually up on CNN News. It's still there. Just type in Lon Safko, CNN, and Mark Kingdon, and you'll actually see the video. And that's me in the top left-hand corner. They made me an honorary CNN reporter. How cool. And that's me with a CNN shirt, hat, and logoed microphone. It's really a cool place. Give it a try. Next, Donna. Okay, gaming. We're all familiar with it. We've all heard about it. But have you ever thought about mainstream gaming as an amazing lead generation or advertising platform? Well, you know, most people, most companies haven't thought of it, but some of the big ones figured it out. You know, companies, little ones you might have heard of, like if you look in the top right-hand corner, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Axe deodorant. Yeah, I'm not kidding. The reason is take a look at the top left-hand corner. The 2 biggest online gaming, they're called MMORPG, massively multiplayer online role-playing games. Unbelievable camaraderie and trust and networking. And if you look at the top, World of Warcraft is the largest with about 17 million participants, subscribers, and Halo 3 is the second largest, which is right behind at about 16.5 million subscribers. And at any one time, there's 68,000 people in Halo 3. Those are huge numbers. Think about it. Now, if you look at that center picture, it's got the HP logo on it, and this is a car racing game. Look at the realism, by the way. Now think about this. You got 16 million people racing that car around. I'm going to say it again. 16 million people going past that billboard every 60 seconds. Now, the first time that you notice that your CPU, your computer, is running too slow and you need to buy a new computer, do you want to guess what computer you're going to look at first? More than likely, it's going to be HP, because you have something in common. HP, by the virtue of that billboard, you now are part of that trusted community. You have a relationship with HP, and believe it or not, it's extremely effective. Now, should you run out and advertise your company inside of a big game? You know what? Probably not. But let me give you an actual example. A friend of mine is an author. He's written 14 business books. He's written a 2 for Dummies series, Complete Idiot's Guide, and a bunch of others. And he stopped writing business books a couple of years ago, and he wrote his first novel. It's called Cyberkill. It's really excellent. So he created a website, of course, to support the book, and he paid this kid, I think it was a high school kid, he paid him like $2,000 to develop a flash-based spy game for his website. So you crawl through the air ducts and you drop down in the office and you open the desk drawer and there's a key, and the key leads to a door, and the door opens up and there's a safe, and inside the safe, you know what I'm talking about. Well, here's what happens. People come just to play the game. Now, here's the cool thing. Out of every 5 people that comes to his website, 4 people buy the book. I'm going to say that again. 80% of everybody who comes to his website for the game buys the book. That's the power of online gaming. Now, let me ask you another question, and I'm going to open it up here. What is the average age of an online gamer? 13? 16? Okay, you in the back? Okay, yep, 18. 12 over on the left. Okay, yeah, you're absolutely correct. It's 42. The average age of the online gamer is 42 years old. And that means that everybody from 9 to 90 is in here. It's not age specific. Okay, what's gender? What's the gender mix? Okay, mostly male. I agree. Yeah, it's a half of 1% male. It's 50% male, 50% female. It's only a half a percent skewed towards male. Isn't that insane? You can't believe how many marriages take place as a result of this type of a trusted network. Next one, Donna. So think about different ways that you can create fish food, reasons for people to come to your website and engage in your brand. Now, blogging. I told you we were going to talk about blogging. Now, here's a little hotel chain that you might or might not have heard about. It's called Marriott. And Bill Marriott, this guy is amazing. He's in his 70s, second generation. His father actually formed Marriott. He's the CEO. And he does a blog. Every single week he writes a blog. And here's some of the reasons why. But when he was asked specifically, I love this business logic. He said a blog provides a platform that allows for two-way interactive communication with his customers. Now here it comes. Listen to this. He says, the blog tells us what we're doing right so we can keep doing it, and what we're doing wrong so we can stop. Now imagine if you, in your business, if you picked up the phone and called 25 of your customers and said, why did you pick me instead of your competition? What have you liked about us, and what haven't you liked about us? What can we do better? Would that give you any valuable information at all? Hang on. Of course it would. So the first question is, why haven't you picked up the phone and called 25 of your customers? But a blog is even more passive, and it works just as well. Your customers will tell you why they bought from you so that you can continue to do it, or what kind of problems that you've had so you can stop it. Now this guy is in his 70s. Now here's something that's interesting. He does a blog every single week, but he's never turned a computer on in his life. Think about that. He's never turned a computer on. So ladies and gentlemen, there's no excuse for you. If you can make it to a webinar, you can do a blog. And how does he do it? He records it into a little digital recorder, gives it to his administrative assistant. They type it out and put it on the blog for him. Isn't that amazing? Next slide, Donna, please. Now, I said that there's some SEO implications, search engine optimization, and there is. It's absolutely amazing. The whole thing with search engines is that it takes all of the content of every web page, analyzes it for keywords, what words are in there that they think are key, and then when a user puts in a SERP, a search engine result page, puts in a query, the keyword is typed in. And Google then looks at which URL, which website has the most pages that contain the most relevant and the newest information that contains those keywords. So if you've got a homepage that talks about you and maybe your industry and product, and you maybe have a couple other pages that haven't been changed out in the last 2 years, and I come up here and I have 25 blogs that are all talking about state-of-the-art latest information on the same thing that you do, guess which website's going to get returned first? Yours that hasn't been changed since 2008, or mine that gets refreshed every single week with up-to-date information? So if you have a social media expert that's working for you and you're not sure if they're doing a good job, ask them this question: what is the SEO implication of blogging? And the two answers are Google Juice and Link Love. Google Juice is the number of web pages that Google has indexed for you and those particular industry keywords, which you want a lot of. And Link Love is people from outside of your website linking back into your content. Nobody on a blog site is going to link back to your standard web page. That would be ridiculous. But if you had good content, good reasons for people to come to your website to learn new things about things that are going on in your industry, other bloggers would link in. Nicknamed Link Love, the actual terminology is called reputable external links. Does that make sense? Those Google Juice, the amount of content, the freshness of the content, and external reputable links are by far the top 3 deciding factors that all search engines use to determine whose web page comes up first. Next slide, Donna. So just blogging sets you up as a perceived industry leader because you got the most content. Let me give you an example. Recently I was interviewed by Inc. magazine, and we did the interview, and at the end of the interview I asked the reporter, I said, why did you pick me? I said, there's probably 250,000 social media experts, and that's in my hometown alone. Everybody's an expert on social media. And then so at the end he said, the reason I picked you is when every time I typed in social media, yours was the only name that came up. Yeah, hello, cha-ching. That's what I'm looking for. Something as powerful as social media and my name kept coming up. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Well, how about if one of your customers or all of your prospects said the reason they did business with you is no matter when they went to the internet, if they typed in any industry keyword, yours was the only web page that came up. You win. That's what I'm talking about. And as you can see by this image here, it looks website looks in a blog page looks identical to a regular website, and it actually has even more powerful tools that are kind of drag and drop and click, even more so than a standard web page. I love working with WordPress. WordPress is the best way to go. Don't use Blogger.com or Typepad because they're getting your Google juice to sell advertising. Remember, it's a Typepad URL or a Blogger.com URL. That's where the traffic is going to be driven, not to your home page. Next slide, please. Now, this is something I call cyber surveillance. And what that means is, for the first time in history, we have a responsibility to monitor our own personal brands. And the reason is people are talking about you. It's not just the schizophrenia. Your meds got that under control. And just because you're hearing voices doesn't necessarily mean there aren't voices out there. People are talking about you. They are talking about your company. Have you looked and have you been able to analyze what's been on Twitter? What are people tweeting about your company? What are people writing in blogs? What are people putting up on Facebook? Have you looked? Do you know how to look? You got a responsibility. If people are saying nice things, you want to retweet it. You want to thank them. If people are saying anything negative, then you need to diffuse it. You need to stop it immediately. And you can do that with just information. So using something as simple as Google Alerts, and if you don't know what Google Alerts are, just Google Alerts. And you put in, quote, Lon Safko, close quote, quote, Social Media Bible, close quote, quote, Fusion Marketing Bible, close quote. Well, don't do that. Use your own products in your own name, because that won't give you information that you can use. But what happens is, anytime that anywhere on earth, if Lon Safko, if that text is used anywhere on Facebook, in a tweet, on a web page, on a blog page, I get a link to it. It's an active link. I can click on it, and I'll know within 30 minutes of when that blog post had been posted or that HTML web page has been published. How about that? Isn't that amazing? Most of the time it's a book review, and I'll go and I'll say, thank you. I understand how much work it takes to review a book, especially an 800-page book, and I really appreciate it. Signed, Lon Safko, the author of the Social Media Bible. Well, they freak out. Think about it. The author of the book is usually the first or second comment on that blog. It's like, wow, they kind of get recognized. And then after that, the comments are all totally positive. So if you do that, they're going to do it again. You want to give them a treat. You want to encourage them to say nice things about you, your company, and your products. So put in everything: your name, your company name, your founder's name, your CEOs, your executives, your products, even your SKUs, anything that could identify what you're doing in business, and you'll get an alert within 30 minutes. Now, what if I told you that you can get the exact same thing, that when someone tweeted out a text message that mentioned your company or your name or your president's name, that you got a copy of that text message at the exact same time the recipient got it? I know, that's kind of crazy, but you can use Seismic Desktop or TweetDeck over on the left-hand side center, and it's absolutely free. You put in the quotes, and anytime you open up that software, it's right there. You can even use search.twitter.com and type in any search criteria, and it will give you every single tweet on earth that has your name in it or your company's name. Now, another one that I like is Social Mention, top right there. Social Mention actually goes in and monitors 80 different social networks real time, everything from MySpace to Facebook to Twitter to blogs. I mean, that's really cool, Social Mention. So get out there, set these up. Once you set them up, they just come into your email. Either they come in as they happen, or what I do, I have them come in once in the morning, so I have a whole list of them, and then it gives you the opportunity to engage in the conversations that are already taking place about you and your company without your knowledge. You need to participate in those conversations. Next, Donna. Email marketing. Everybody says email is dead. I want to see a show of hands. How many people here, based on the comment that email is dead, are now getting significantly less emails today than you did 2 years ago? No hands? Not a single hand. Yeah, because email isn't dead. Email marketing is absolutely as powerful as ever, if you do it right. Now, the bullet points on the left-hand side, if you know what those bullet points mean, you will be successful using email marketing. When I do my email marketing, I get up to a 35% conversion rate. That means that 1 out of 3 people that I ask to do something in my email actually do it. Can you believe that? Now, direct mail gets 1/2 of 1% response rate, and it has a huge associated cost. If you've done a direct mail piece, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Email is nearly completely free or free, and even the national average is 15 to 17% open rate. Think about that, 15 to 7 versus 1/2 of 1%, and it's free. You just have to understand those bullet points over on the left-hand side, and that happens to be chapter 3 in the book. Just get that chapter and read it, and truly you'll understand email marketing. It is incredibly powerful if it's done correctly. And the problem is a lot of people are doing it, but they don't know what they're doing. They think they understand it, but in fact they're doing a poor job at it. Next slide. Now, mobile marketing. Mobile marketing is the fastest growing market segment on the earth. There is no technology that's growing at any pace even close to what's going on with mobile marketing. And QR barcodes are absolutely critical. And the reason is that if you put those QR barcodes on anything printed, you have a direct connection from the printed physical world to the actual internet virtual world. For example, if you download the free app, QR barcode reader, and there's dozens of them, and you point it at that top button there on the right, your smartphone will know what to do and just open up my web page. You don't have to type anything in. You go to my web page. If you point it at the one below that, it will simply call my office. I have it on my business card because I want you to point your phone and the phone just automatically starts to ring. You really need to focus on mobile marketing. It is the trend. For the first time in history, PC sales have dropped significantly because smartphones and tablets are now taking the place of desktops and even laptops, believe it or not. You got to focus on this. Next slide. And I wish I could spend a whole morning on each one of these. So we're gonna, at this point, I'm gonna turn it back over to Donna, and we're gonna open it up for question and answers, and we're gonna have that book giveaway. So don't go away. Donna, are you there?
You bet. Okay, so for the next like 8-10 minutes, Lon, we're going to go ahead and answer some questions. And I encourage you to continue to type them in, but we've got a couple right now. And the first one is, how do I get more fans? And I suspect she's referring to Facebook. How do I get more fans on my Facebook page?
And Donna, you want to field that? You really are an expert in this. Do you want to answer that?
Yeah,
What does Summa Social do to help?
Yeah, one of the best tactics is to be able to load up a powerful cover banner that now, with the new timeline that's happened on Facebook, you've got an opportunity to customize your banner so that within 3 seconds, people have a quick takeaway. They know what you do, why you do it, how they can actually call you up and order your service, or at least talk with you about how they can advance to that next stage. Another great way to bring in more tactical targeted fans is to create a Facebook ad with knowing your keywords and your target demographic on Facebook. You don't need to look at 9 billion people there. You can actually dial it down to targeted fans that are within certain zip codes, within certain geographical areas of your community, of your city, who have specific interests. They can actually engage and like your ad, come back to your custom landing page and have a quick takeaway and act on what you've given them the opportunity. Maybe it's a free ebook, maybe it's a free webinar, maybe it's a free chapter. So those two tactics alone, the advertising and that power of the first impression, are definite musts when you are marketing on Facebook and wanting to really push your brand.
Awesome, and I knew you were going to just knock it out of the park with that answer, because you guys really are good at this. Now, here's another thing. In the next week, we're going to do another webinar, and it's on my latest best-selling book called The Fusion Marketing Bible. Let me just tell you, I'm going to answer this question with kind of the theme of the other book. In your automated email signature, are you driving people to Facebook to like your page? When you send out tweets, do you have a bit.ly or a shortened link at the end of every one of your tweets that gives your fans the ability to go to Facebook and like your page? When you print your brochure, do you have that little thumbs up and a short URL sitting on your brochure that will drive everybody to your Facebook to like your page? If you are participating in Second Life, do you have a button in there where all they have to do is click on it so that people can go and like your page? On your coupons, do you see where I'm going with this? On your on hold message, do you have a QR barcode on your business cards that drive people to Facebook to like your page? If you want people to like your page, then don't keep it a secret. You have to put it everywhere. The more you publicize it, the more people are going to use it, the more fans you're going to get.
Great answer. Another quick question people have is, how do we determine our keywords? I've heard there's a Google tool, and I heard you talk about the importance of it.
Yeah, you know, keywords really, it's not as scientific as you think. I mean, my keywords are social media marketing, traditional marketing. It's pretty much what words would you use to define what you do? If you wrote a little one-page paper about, or even take a look at your brochure, your one sheet, your homepage, what are the words that define what you do, what your industry is? So those are your keywords, because it's what you talk about and it's what your customers are looking for. And yeah, you can go into Google AdWords. You can also do it in Yahoo search engine marketing, but Google AdWords also, and you can use just Google it, their keyword search tool. So you pick what you think are the most popular keywords and make a list of 3, 4, 5, 6 keywords or keyword phrases. A keyword phrase is just more than one word. Like there's marketing is a keyword, social marketing is a keyword phrase. Make a list of 5 or 6 of these and then type them into Google keyword search, and you'll see literally over the last 30 days how many people actually searched on those. And when you find the ones that the most people searched on, that's the words that you want to use the most on your web page, your Facebook page, your tweets, etc.
Okay, and another question is, with everything that you had given as options, what one, if people are just kind of starting out, what 1 or 2 things, or even 3 things, should they do every day to get that momentum going? Should it be a blog? Should it be a couple of tweets? Should it be Facebook? Should they do a video? Can you give them kind of a starting point for what to do every day?
Well, you know, the cool thing is that it's a little bit of everything. That's what I do. And I'm not kidding, and it's going to sound like a sales pitch again, but Summa Social. Focus, if you're not already a customer, and even if you are, focus on the tools that they provide you for Facebook, because you're accessing 1 billion people. That's the very first thing. Focus on Summa Social. The next thing is that maybe each day do something different. You know, maybe this week on Tuesday you're going to shoot a 3-minute video. Why not? Tell your customers why you do what you do. Or go grab your video camera or even your flip video phone and talk to one of your customers and let them do a 30-second testimonial. So next Wednesday is going to be dedicated just to video. Blogs, if you can give me a half a page once a week, that's all you need to do is put up a half a page once a week and you win. Truly and honestly. Emails, send out an email blast. Update your homepage. Update your LinkedIn profile. Send out some information on LinkedIn. Start a group and participate on LinkedIn in a group. There's so many different things that you can do. I get bored. I can't do the same thing every single day. I have to do email every day, but then I mix up throughout the rest of the day and every day of the week a little bit something different. It's like the old Ed Sullivan show. If you're over 50, you'll remember Ed Sullivan. There was always this guy on there that spun plates. He had these like 6 or 7 sticks, and he had a plate, and he would spin them. And when one started to wobble, you'd run back over and spin that one. And he just continually ran from plate to plate. That's what my life feels like with social media. I'm always spinning the plate that needs the most attention.
Thank you, Lon. Okay, so now, as we promised, since we're about 5 minutes from the hour, Lon is generously giving away one of his autographed books, and one of my Summa Social colleagues is literally putting his fingers inside of the hat right now to draw out the name. So the very coveted copy goes to Shauna Barnett. Shauna
Yay,
Barnett.
Shauna.
Okay, so Shauna, if you'll go ahead and send me an email, and my email is Donna, D-O-N-N-A, and I'll put that in the chat, Donna at Summa, S-U-M-M-A, social.com, or you can call us at 480-314-4101, and I would need your name, your address, your street address, and then your phone number, and Lon will be able to send that out straight from his inventory.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Yes, Shauna. She's actually quite frequently on our business page, and now I'm recognizing the name. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. Lon, a huge thanks for helping me with our clients and our Facebook fans receiving immense value. So try some of Lon's new strategies, and know that if you've got any questions that we didn't get answered, I want you to come right on over to our Facebook business page, and that's facebook.com/Summa Social, or just type in Summa Social into the Facebook search box. And thanks everyone for joining us. And Lon, you are always a real privilege to spend time with. So
you're awesome. I'm looking forward to next week.
So kind of the bumper sticker takeaway here is that social media marketing can work for everyone. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, guys.